Now, this case, as we were talking the other day, is it's a fascinating case because it's one of the few where you have multiple videos and multiple witnesses of the same incident, and not even all in the same place. Some separated by 20 miles or whatever, and also has some historical connotations, because this was taken in what was still East Germany 6 weeks before unification, and there were still a lot of Russian troops in the area, as we know. East Germany had been part of the Warsaw Pact, and they were in the process of moving out, but they hadn't done that yet. And so a doctor, Ludmila, who took this video, was a Russian woman, and it's also near a nuclear power plant.
Correct.
And a military installation.
And when you're listening to the track, you are hearing Russian, not German.
You will hear in this first tape Russian, and then the followings you will hear German.
Yeah.
But it is still the same incident.
And again, if you don't understand Russian, you will still be able to make out genuine excitement in the voices. And we're looking at what seems to be a fixed group of lights there, but once again,
they didn't move and they start multiplying.
Right, like over Gulf Breeze in the previous reel.
Right, except that they're much more clustered together. Yes. And it also went on for many minutes. And it's a very, very, very good case. One of the best video cases that I'm aware of, because of the multiple video cameras and, probably hundreds of witnesses altogether.
Indeed. I would be surprised if it was more, because this is the kind of thing that people will remember.
And some researchers in Germany later did check once the unification went forward, and with the police and the military, to see if there were some kind of military maneuvers, and the answer was no. Here's one where some people even speculated that they were trying to fire at the object when that little light goes there. So this is another view, but taken from a different
by a German person with the camera.
Right. It was really a very significant UFO case.
And larger, it's either a larger object that is lower down.
The one below, the one below, you notice, doesn't appear on the previous video.
Or a very tight cluster holding in formation. Again, we've got some lights there at the lower part of the frame.
Right, so we do have some reference points.
A bunch of...
And in the previous one, we had the building.
Yes, and good of the camera person to give us a sense of where we are here rather than just against a static background. And that is a better shot of the larger one that was lower on frame. That'd be one heck of a weird-looking plane based on that configuration.
And it's also not moving.
Yeah, right, which is very difficult
for a plane. Cannot do that.
You don't want to stop moving in a moving plane. Again, I'm seeing slight color differentials in the lights as well. Again, this may be a generation or two old, but it looks like the central lights are a reddish cast, and the exterior ones are more toward the white.
Yeah, though this case coming from Germany, I think Mike Hesseman got probably a pretty good generation copy.
Yeah, it looks quite clear. Again, we have very little to judge it against in this, but it looks sharp and clear.
And now the lights seem to change.
Yes.
Which is significant.
One wonders if it's the lights changing or the angle of the thing.
Could be.
Maybe we're seeing the same thing from another angle.
From another angle,
Once again, all speculation, but it is, it's major, whatever it is. And we see one of the lights dimming there, getting very red.
Right.
Guck mal, der eine ist jetzt ganz, ganz schwach.
Ja.
Ne? Du in der Kamera siehst das unheimlich gut. Ja.
Holding its ground.
Yeah, you can tell that this went on for quite a while.
Yeah. Doing a little bit of zooming there, I think.
But the cameraman is making a very good job because
for handheld, that's not bad at all.
It's, and he's not over focusing when you lose resolution, which is very common, unfortunately, on many UFO videos.
It sure is.
And now the lights begin to just like the previous one that we saw in Gulf Breeze on the previous tape. And now this is just a repetition now on
real close up.
On close up.
And again, it's purely guesswork whether or not the lights are going out, whether the things that are making the lights is disappearing, so to say, whether it looks like one thing because the lights are totally integrated. They move with the camera in a completely unified manner. So my guess is that we are looking at one thing and not a number of things together.
Yeah, this problem comes across in many other videos too, whether you don't know it's part of a single structure or it's a formation. But I agree with you. I think this is one cluster of objects, but all hook up together somehow.
And here we go again.
But this
another
is
camera
another camera
from
person.
another angle.
Exactly.
Fabulous.
So this is almost like a textbook case for like if you want to do like a really thorough scientific analysis, because you can triangulate from all the different cameras.
And again, taking that factor into consideration of different people with different cameras in different parts of town aiming up and getting this
because
thing.
This is still Usedom it's I don't know what's exact distance from Greifswald, but it's still part of the same phenomenon.
Although, I'm guessing it's pretty good size based on what we're seeing here.
Yeah, especially if you look at, remember the first one with the building, it looked pretty substantial size.
Yeah. And here again we have a little bit of figure ground. It was shot against a sky with some gradations in it, hints of cloud formations, so we can actually... Oh, hello.
That must be because remember there were two. At one point you could see the two clusters.
Huh. Wow.
There you get a very good image of the two clusters.
Look at that. Again, the ancient question, what is that? Just keeps coming up for me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could speculate is some kind of cluster of balloons, but what for? And again, like I said, there were no records.
They also seem self-illuminated, and they're not being subjected to what happens when you leave
they're not wavering
into the air.
Yeah.
We've all done it as kids or seen it, as adults, and that thing takes off and is at the absolute mercy of any gust of wind. Look at it against the tree. You see it's really holding its own mark very well.
So I don't think they're balloons either. I mean, just trying to force my mind, to come with some explanation. Yes. But
we just sort of keep hitting the brick wall here. Look at that. And slightly different sequence.
Yeah, so we've seen 4 videos so far of the same phenomenon.
Again, seemingly, the central ones are of a reddish hue. The top and the bottom one seem more toward the white.
Right.
I don't know if that may be some kind of distortion, but that's the way it appears.
Yeah, and they've got a little dot in the middle.
Yeah.
Each one of the little balls.
And again, congratulations to the photographer. That's pretty good for handheld work. Again, a little frustrating because we have nothing to see it in terms of, but we have already a pretty good picture in our minds from all the previous videos.
Right. Yeah, it is so fixed in the sky that it's that's one of the more puzzling features of this set of videos.
Sure is. Seeing a little pulsation there on that second one down, or the illusion of it. No, not anymore. Just hanging there like a basket of fruit in the sky.
Yeah.
I think sometimes your vision starts to polarize after watching something like this long enough.
I guess the other possible explanation would be some kind of flares, which we'll revisit that later on with the famous Phoenix lights.
But problematic in that is the stationary aspect of them and putting off
and too close to each other, and again, not.
Yeah, it's a grab, but it doesn't wash for me. It's that's a genuine, unidentified object in the sky.
And now they're gone. No, there's still one there. Now that final effect, that is a distortion.
Yeah. Which we've seen occasionally up until now.
And we will see it, I think, better in some other videos later.
Later that year. Okay.
This, I guess, is that kind of pink.
Oh, there it is.
Pink cloud there. Yeah.
Let's see. But it's not moving like a cloud.
And they're not usually pink either on the sunset or something.
But
back to Vegas.
They must like gambling or something. This is a pretty good size one. And again, we're fortunate to have the skyline in the background. That is not Venus, that's not the moon, that's not the sun. I'm going to guess it's
definitely not the sun or the moon, right? Not an aircraft either, I don't think so.
Not like a saucer, it's like a big bag.
There's a lot of camera movement.
And it comes on. Look at it now.
Bit of a shake there, but we're seeing certainly a substantial light. That almost, the illusion is at least, that it's almost flaming. There seems to be some articulation at the top, and the bottom seems more solidified, but again, that can be total illusion.
Yeah, it could be very similar to the, quite similar to the first one we saw on this tape from Vegas also. It's also Christmas Eve.
Oh my goodness. Well, there you go.
Maybe it's the Star of Bethlehem
just visiting
Vegas. It's a good scientific explanation.
Absolutely. Way to go, Antonio. Publish a paper on it.
And it's over the city a lot.
Oh, that is really bright.
And it's really big.
And again, that meets no configuration of an aircraft. Also, it is decidedly self-illuminated. It seems to be hanging in essentially the same territory. Oh, very curious.
It's gone.
Moving right on.
Yeah, now as we move into the 90s, we will see more and more the proliferation of video cameras.
You bet.
And so
the actual film footage is few and far between from about this point.
Right, now we get lots of videos per year, as opposed to the first tape where we had, just a few for a whole decade. Because that's pre-video camera. This is, I don't know what to make of this.
Jeez. Now, whether or not that's a striation on the side, or we're looking at, the light hitting a object and seeing, it's darker, on a certain level, it could almost be a balloon, but again, it does not. I don't see anything for a traditional balloon. It's not tapering down like an ice cream cone. There's no, gondola or anything like that. It seems to be almost of a pill, like a longish ellipse with some real dimension.
Of course, there are many shapes of balloons for different purposes, but again,
it's hanging
it's very still.
It's obviously, if it is an inflated thing, it's not helium. I'd call that a genuine curiosity, and I'm darned if I know what could cause it. Certainly took the interest of this photographer.
Again, not moving.
Yeah, which takes some work. It's a real thing. There's nothing
it's a thing, yeah.
amorphous looking about this. It's not a light.
Sometimes you can play with the possibility of a lenticular cloud, a contrail, something, but this...
That ain't...
This looks like a thing of some kind.
Yes, we both agree this is a thing. This is a genuine, real thing. It is unidentified. It is, if not flying, floating. Now that's something.